Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, into the NCAA college football week 2. Alright, as we all know, college football in 2020 isn't normal. Nothing is normal in 2020. So we only had 5 games on the first week. We have 22 games on week 2. We're going to cover as much football as we can here on Robert Sports Show like we do every year. So week 1, overall, I was 5-10. Not great. 3-2 win-loss, 2-3 against the spread, 0-5 over-under. It's 2020, folks. So no matter how bad I do this year, it's 2020, folks. Alright, so week 2, we have 22 games here going, so we're going to get started with that. We have University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers, UAB Blazers, who are 1-0 this year, versus the Miami Hurricanes. Hurricanes are favored by 14 at home. I got them winning, covering. I am taking over on the 54.5. Next up, we have Syracuse Orange versus the North Carolina Tar Heels. Tar Heels are favored by 22.5 at home. I got them winning, but I have Syracuse covering at 22.5. I'm taking over on the 65. Next up, we have the Charlotte 49ers versus the Appalachian State Mountaineers. Appalachian State favored by 17. I got them winning. I got Charlotte covering the 17 and over on the 59.5. The Louisiana Raging Cajuns versus the Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa State favored by 11.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 56. We did have Louisiana Tech Bulldogs and Baylor Bears, but that game has been postponed. Next up, we have the 0-1 Eastern Kentucky Colonials versus the West Virginia Mountaineers. West Virginia is favored by 37.5. I have them winning. I have Eastern Kentucky covering the 37.5, and then I'm taking over on the 55.5. Next up, we have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets versus the Florida State Seminoles. Florida State favored by 12.5. Win, cover, under on the 52.5. Citadel Bulldogs versus the South Florida Bulls. South Florida favored by 17. I get them winning, covering. I'm taking under on the 54.5. Next up, we have Louisiana Monroe Warhawks versus the 1-0 Army Black Knights. Black Knights favored by 19. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 54.5. Next, we have the Duke Blue Devils versus the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, which as we know, Notre Dame is playing as part of the ACC in 2020. Notre Dame is favored by 21, or at 20. I have Duke. Can't talk tonight. Notre Dame favored by 20. I got them winning. I got Duke covering the 20 and over on the 54.5. University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners versus the 0-1 Texas State Bobcats. Bobcats favored by 8. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 57.5. Next up, I have the Arkansas State Red Wolves versus the Kansas State Wildcats. The Wildcats favored by 10.5. I got them winning, covering, over on the 54. Next up, we have the Campbell Fighting Camels versus Georgia Southern Eagles. Southern Eagles favored by 34.5. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 58.5. Austin Peay Governors 0-1 versus the Pittsburgh Panthers. Panthers favored by 27. I got them winning, covering. I am taking under on the 48.5. Missouri State Bears versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Boomer Sooner favored by 31. Win, cover, over on the 64.5. Next up, the Clemson Tigers versus the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Clemson favored by 33. I get them winning, covering, and over on the 60. The Tulsa Golden Hurricane versus the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Oklahoma State favored by 22. They're going to win it. Probably win it by 21. So I got Tulsa covering 22. And then over on the 66.5 because it is the Big 12. Tulane Green Wave versus the South Alabama Jaguars, who are 1-0. Tulane favored by 8. I'm actually picking the South Alabama Jaguars to win that. They're going to cover the 8 and over on the 52.5. Next up, we have the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers versus the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville is favored by 12. I get them winning, covering, and over on the 58. Next up, the UTEP Miners versus the Texas Longhorns. Miners are 1-0. Longhorns are favored by 43. I got UTEP covering the 43 and under on the 58. Next up, the Houston Baptist Huskies versus the Texas Tech Red Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 39.5. I am having Houston cover that because Texas is going to win like 40-3 or something stupid. So I'm going to cover. Not going to cover it. So I got Houston covering 39.5, and then under on the 71. Last but not least, we have the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers versus the Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas favored by 7. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 56. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our 22 games through week 2 of the NCAA FBS college football season. Stay tuned to Robert Sports Show for each week of the college football season and for each week of the NFL. NFL is already up on Robert Sports Show. Season kicks off tomorrow night. Can't wait. Finally, a little bit of normalcy. You know, some of these NFL teams are going to have fans, some won't. Just the new normal in life. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.